Like mentioned, Mughilan, who is my co-founder at Skylark Drones, unfortunately could not join. So hence I'll be doing this presentation to give an introduction to drones, and in particular drone spraying in agriculture. Mughilan and I are co-founders at Skylark Drones. Skylark Drones is the company, is the startup we've been running for the last close to 9 years now. Started in 2014. Out of college, we were Mughilan had finished his master's in aerospace from Purdue, and we were college mates in RV College here in Bangalore. And we started Skylark Drones. Skylark Drones today is a drone enterprise, or you could say civil drone industry company, right? We are not in the defense drones, we're not in the consumer drones, we are in the commercial applications of drone space, wherein in particular we provide solutions. We are not a drone manufacturer, essentially. We are a solution provider. The drone manufacturing is done by a partner company, and we are a software product predominantly, right? We build software for drones. When someone thinks of drone, they think of the device that flies, right, with the rotors and carrying either a camera. You would have seen them in weddings, and to now spraying with these drones. But the drone is almost as much the software as well. Software is the accompaniment with the drone that lets the user, or it even in some cases completely automated, right, lets the drone carry out uh, these autonomous missions, right? In the case of spraying, it's to release material, right, to spray, right, or even to spread seeds, for example, and the payload, the carrying either the pesticide in this case of spraying, or it could be even a camera, right, camera to from an agriculture point, for example, to look at health of the crop, right. And so all of that that lets enable the drones to carry out these missions. And also, if it's the case of camera, also to analyze this data, make sense of the data being captured by these drones, is enabled by software, and that's what we predominantly build at Skylark. And we are partnering with drone manufacturers who are providing these hardware systems, right, which carry out spraying activities, right, and spraying, and also data collection, which is in the case of crop surveys, right, crop surveys. And we not only operate in the agriculture sector. Agriculture sector is one of the sectors we operate. We also operate in construction, in mining, in utilities like energy sector. So drones have far-reaching applications, and today we will focus on the agriculture spraying domain, right? So just to quickly introduce, then this is we're headquartered out of Bangalore, and our mission, right? What we are here for, what our objective here is to unlock these applications of drones, right? And in largest case, it's aerial robotics, which is used for various industries. Right now, so with that introduction, I quickly want to jump into the topic, which is introduction to how drones are being used for spraying, right? And before I start a presentation, I quickly want to uh, showcase a product, right? A hardware product, right? What is uh, uh, the device that sprays these drones? And the way I would want to present this to the audience today would be to paint a global picture, right? I am while we are talking about agriculture drones in India as well, and we will get to that. We will talk about what's happening in India in particular as well. But before that, before we talk about India and what is the current status of these spraying drones in India from a point of regulations, and from a point of adoption, from a point of how many quantities and what is the status today in India. That apart, to give the audience a global picture, I want to start with a video. I want to start with a video that is a introduction to a particular product, right? This is a drone from a company called DJI. DJI is a market leader in the drone hardware space. They are just about launching the product, or yet to launch the product in Indian market, but as is being widely used in most markets, most agricultural economies, starting from China to in Southeast Asia, in plenty of countries, and also in, say, South America, like Brazil, right? So last year, for example, just to give a stat, more than 1 lakh of these drones of this particular company, but is an indicative of the market here, right? And is was sold in the market, was purchased by mostly spray service providers who are essentially either a single man company or a small company today, who is providing very localized spraying services. These are provided either via the agrochemical supply chain, or are either individual operators who lease out, who provide the service of spraying in a farm. And we will talk about the application of how this works for someone who's purchased a drone. How much can he earn? What is the benefit of this? What is the saving? We'll get to all of that. But before we get to that, I just want to play a video, right? And we will resume after the video is done. Hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah, this is just before I play, the context here is this is a 30-liter capacity spray drone, right? This is a particular product. I just want to set the right standards of drones in for this discussion.
Agras T30 is an agricultural drone that transforms. Take a look. The aircraft has a maximum capacity of 30 liters. A newly designed plunger pump produces a maximum flow of 8 liters per minute. 8 sets of solenoid valves enable variable frequency control, and 16 nozzles provide an unprecedented spray range of 9 meters. A new smart gauge indicates the estimated time until refill, boosting operational efficiency. Also, the aircraft can cover 40 acres in just 1 hour. Now, let's watch as the Agras T30 transforms into orchard configuration. The angle of the arms is optimized for fruit-bearing trees. In this controlled spray direction, pesticides can travel down along the branches, providing an even distribution. With assistance from the DJI Phantom 4 RTK, operators can manage a 3D digital map of the orchard and plan a precise flight path. Wave goodbye to ineffective tree spraying. The Agras T30 has a resistance rating of IP67 against dust and liquids, making it a waterproof aircraft for every mission you need. A new folding truss-style body reduces its size by 80%. Built-in safety locks help ensure operational safety. What else can this drone do? Front and rear FPV cameras improve visibility and flight status. A spherical radar system enhances safer flight in complicated environments. Real-time perception of the 3D environment offers precise terrain adaptation, omnidirectional obstacle avoidance, and automatic detours. The T30 battery is guaranteed for 1,000 charging cycles. 2 batteries and a charger for all-day aerial spraying. Got any more tricks? The Agras T30 is also an aerial spreading system. Its 40-liter tank significantly improves spreading efficiency, and remaining material is detected in real time. With the P4 multispectral, you can monitor crop growth and generate work size plans. The T30 supports variable application, reducing consumption and increasing output. The spreading system is also washable and corrosion resistant. But that's not all. The DJI Agras T10, this lightweight agricultural drone, is absolutely packed. It comes with a detachable tank and a 1,000 cycle ultra-fast charging battery. And like its big brother, it's outfitted front and rear FPV cameras and a spherical radar system. For those new to aerial spraying, the T10 is the perfect solution. No matter your mission, Agras T30 and T10 are the perfect solution. Take off, take aim, and care for your crops like never before.
Yes, so before I continue with the presentation, I hope that video gave a glimpse of what these drones are capable of, right? These drones, like you might have understood from the video, are come in various capacities, starting with 10 liters, all the way up to 40 liters, right? 10, 20, 30, 40 liter capacity drones are available. I want to touch on 2 aspects of this drone with an objective of familiarizing the audience with the product, right? With the solution. What is a spraying drone, right? What does it do? I want to explain that, to explain agriculture drone and a spraying drone, right? On the whole, I want to touch upon 2 aspects. One is the commercial aspect, which I want to start with first, so that is clear. and then I want to talk about the technical aspect. And the technical aspect, I will just quickly walk through the drone in itself, just to familiarize the drone. What are the parts of drone? What is there apart the rotors and the spraying system? What else constitutes a drone? How do you operate? And how does that actually work on field if someone's purchased an agriculture drone? Right? So that's the second part of which I will come with the while walking through a presentation. But before that, on the commercial side, I just quickly want to set context here. You might have picked up from the video itself that these drones do up to 40 acres an hour, right? So essentially these drones fly for about 10 minutes on average, not much, but this particular drone you saw, the battery also charges in 10 minutes, right? So you can just come change the battery, it's good to go, right? You can continue flying for 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, depending on the capacity of the drone, it can spray anywhere from an acre and a half to up to 4 acres, right? 3 to 4 acres, depending on the size of the drone. Smaller the drone, smaller the capacity per battery, right? Per flight. And the larger the drone, larger the capacity, but anywhere from 1 to 4 acres per 10 minutes per flight is what these drones can spray. These drones, compared to manual methods, right, which is the commercial part of it, what is happening today, for example, spraying rice, right, and with either pesticide or herbicide, right? For a given labor, it takes one person, it takes close to 1 day to complete an acre, right? And it would require close to 150 to 200 liters of water, right, to spray. And that's what's the practice today, right? With drones now, what happens is that 1 acre, right, that gets sprayed in 10 minutes in one flight, does not require 200 liters of water, just requires for a 1 acre requires about 20 liters, with 10% of the water required to spray these pesticides, right, these chemicals effectively. And also the concentration of the usage, the dosage of the pesticide itself, or the chemical in any form of chemical itself is reduced by close to 25% to 30%. So the cost saving on per acre, coming to cost, right? Coming to cost, then you're saying one labor does 1 acre a day. A labor of who does spraying, knapsack spraying, comes for around 800 rupees, 600, 800 rupees per day. Whereas with one drone, since you can do 1 to 4 acres in one flight, in 1 day, maybe you could fly for 2 hours effectively. So anywhere from 25 to 40 acres per day can be managed to be sprayed with one operator, by one operator, right? And which means if it's 25, the lower side of it would be and the typical charges, even if it's per acre, the 800 rupees is the manual cost. Even if it's 50%, 400 rupees is around 10,000 rupees you can earn in 1 day, right? And in a given crop season, flying for 30 days, 60 days, you pretty much recover the cost of the drone within one crop season, within a couple of months of operating one particular drone, right? That's the economics. That's the economics today. When someone's buying a drone, there are subsidies available, and we'll get to the Indian government rules later. But even if it's purchasing the drone with 100% price, within maybe 2 months, 3 months of operating, of 60 days of operations, right? Within that, you make the returns from the investing on the drone. And the drone comes for an average lifespan of around 1,500 battery cycles here, which is effectively, with changing batteries and things, that comes for 2 to 3 years, right? So and you have the rest of the remaining crop seasons to make profits out of these, of providing this spraying service, right? And either for because you're talking about spraying 16 to 25 acres, right, which you can manage in a crop season if it's being provided as a service, right, by an operator. So that's the commercials of it. That's just why we are seeing large scale adoption of this technology globally, right? In China, in Southeast Asia, we're seeing a lot of localized operators, but farmers, right? Second generation farmers who are purchasing this drone and providing this as a service. You have right from just one drone operator to a small company, service providers, all of this available for the farmer to avail this as a service, right? Where he's paying on X number of acres that he owns, and he avails the service. And especially given India, the land holding size, you require a service to be provided. So that is the economics of why drones are being adopted now. And that being said, we are at a very early stage of this, right? We are just it's in terms of crop area, percentage crop area sown for say rice. In China, it has reached 40% plus. So we are seeing that kind of adoption happen in a few countries, but India is just about starting this, since the drone rules were liberalized in 2021, maybe close to 2 years ago now. Till then, when we started 2015 to 2021, the drone rules were not really clear. The drones were actually banned from till 2018, and then we had a few rule changes, and just 2 years ago is when the drone rules are made easy. It is equivalent to a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler vehicle today, where you buy a drone, you register it once, you get a registration number, and the operator needs to be having a not a license like a driver license, but a training certificate. He needs to get trained operator to operate these drones, and the drone needs to be registered, and you can operate this freely up to a height of 400 feet. In the agriculture spraying case, you don't need to fly that high. You're flying maybe a meter or 2 meters above the crop canopy. And you can freely fly within up to such height in green zones. There's a map published of where you can operate drones and where you cannot operate drones. In red zones, which is where most cities are, most airports are, such kind of sensitive areas, you cannot fly drone. But in green zone, which is where most of agriculture happens, almost all of agriculture happens, drones are now allowed to be operated as long as registered and it is below and the operator is trained and the operator is trained. So that's the Indian context today. This is the economics of drones. I quickly want to get into the technical aspects of drones, given that I have around 12 minutes left. I would just give a overview of the technical aspects of a drone, just to quickly make the audience familiar with what is a drone. Now that this is the economics of this is the application of this is where the current status of this is. What is the product, what is the drone, what is the software, we'll talk about as well. I'll quickly touch upon. And so we'll start with the basics of what is the parts of the drone, just so that you understand, everyone understands what comes when you buy a drone, what is it, how do you operate this, right? I think the video did give some glimpse to it, but just want to quickly understand. We'll quickly go through the technicals of the drone. It's mostly a multi-rotor platform. It's in the sense that it takes off in a fixed location, does the job, it flies above 1 to 2 meters above crop canopy, and comes, and you have various it's a concise mechanical structure. In most cases, these drones also fold up. You can carry them on a two-wheeler. You can have a small vehicle to kind of carry this depending on the size of the drone. And it's a multi-rotor, right? It has these opposite direction turning rotors, right? That's the structure of the drone as such. There's of course a remote controller, which is the operator. Operator has a remote controller with a screen. In most cases, the operator is not really flying the drone manually with the joystick. He's doing an automated mission. So, for example, I have a plot of say 2 acres, and I have a few trees in between, and I have a power line running through it, right? And I want to spray this particular land, which is most typical farmland in India. With such circumstance, you can completely automate a mission to carry out the spray evenly, right? You need to know the boundaries. You can either physically walk and mark the boundaries, or with the maps help, you can mark the boundary. You can mark obstacles. You can mark trees, power lines, things as obstacles, which the drone will not go nearby, right? And the drone is fully packed with sensors, right? It's completely 360-degree awareness is there, right? Even if you're manually flying, for example, I take off the drone is flying for 2 meters, right? Above ground. And say, for example, it's a hill, right? And I just, even if I'm flying manually, right? I'm just saying the drone to go forward, right? Spray and go forward. It can climb the hill, it can follow the hill, right? It can up to 75 degree of slope. The drone will automatically maintain the 2 meters on the hill, right? So these drones are highly technologically sophisticated. They are fully highly safe, right? While the rotors look scary, these drones are extremely safe. They're around the surroundings, that they are aware of the surroundings. They don't go close to more than 2 meters close to an obstacle. So all these parameters you can set with the remote controller and an operator. Typically, an operator requires close to maybe 1 or 2 days of training at a minimum training of 2 days to operate, right, including some theoretical knowledge and also operating experience, right? So the remote controller, the aircraft, and either the spraying in case of a liquid, or in case of pellets, you could also have the spreading system, right? Pellets could be the time of sowing, for example, right? Or when we pellet form of chemicals, right? Yeah, so the liquid and the granules being that the two large, like fish feed, for example, in the granules mode, right? Uh, yeah, like I said, saves 90% of the water, highly efficient, and it's a very precise use, right, of usage of pesticide, very highly precise, right? And yeah, and there are very fine droplets, very evenly spread for the purpose of from a spraying perspective. Yeah, quickly the remote controller. This is how the remote controller looks, right? This remote controller has a software, right, which connects to the drone, which gives you alarms if there is something nearby, right, which lets you plan the mission. That software is built by Skylark. This is where the software part of the drone comes in. The way you interact with the drone is via a software in most cases, where you plan the mission and things like that. And of course, there is the manual mode as well. Yeah, so you can adjust the flow rates, for example. And in the case of these drones, they also come with cameras, right? There are also front camera, backward camera for the operators. Some variants which have a multispectral camera as well. So in the case you want to have high precision farming where you want to do a health assessment of the crops, spray only where there is a damage assessed. In such case, these drones, the same drone comes also equipped with a multispectral camera as well, all of which can be controlled with the remote controller. Can also be connected to the internet, right? You can also directly the remote controller itself. You can have a dongle installed. You can have multiple fleet. For example, this is useful in the case where as a spray service provider, I have say 5 drones, or I have 20 drones, and every day these drones are being used, and you want to keep a monitoring of these drones, whether how much acre they have sprayed, that they're sprayed or not sprayed. So having connectivity also helps give a central command control if required for such operators, service providers. Yeah, this is the manual mode where you have manual controls available as well. Simple basics of get the drone to a height, do a lawn mower kind of a pattern to fly the drone. These are the basic parts. There are, of course, the propellers and nozzles. There are different kinds of nozzles. There are pressure nozzles. There are centrifugal nozzles, right? So that's the depending on the drone again. There are, of course, the local communication channel with the remote controller. This can fly up to, can go across 3 kilometers radius, 5 kilometers radius, depending on the setting of the drone. Can go that much far if required to go and carry out these missions. And there's also RTK antenna. RTK essentially are high precision GPS in the application where you want highly precise coordinates that the drone should travel. There is also a high precision GPS options available on the drone as well. Like I said, clockwise and counterclockwise rotors available to balance the drone. Also has obstacle avoidance or surround understanding, which is enabled via radars and vision systems. There are cameras and radars which lets the drone sense its environment. The high precision GPS that I was mentioning. Yeah, there is if you have a base station along with the drone, it kind of builds in centimeter precision for the path of the drone. The battery, like I said, you can either have a chargeable, like if there is electricity access, then you can go plug it in, charge it in 10 minutes. In the case that's not possible, in some service providers require a generator. Have a generator on site, have a drone, have 2 batteries, have generator, keep charging the battery, 10 minutes it will charge, change the battery, keep flying, right? So that's also an optional equipment available with the drone. Batteries are intelligent. Batteries automatically discharge if they're not used to preserve the life of the battery, are air cooled, are give you not all batteries. So in the Indian context, there are also substandard products, but I'm talking about a high quality, high standard product as a benchmark product that I'm telling the specifications of right now. up to 1,500 cycles in some products, up to 1,000 cycles of battery life cycles. In the Indian other alternative manufacturers give also 100 cycles, 200 cycles, the cheaper drones, which is currently largely being used. The full technology entry is still happening in the Indian landscape from the spraying drones hardware point of view. The spraying system itself has a tank, has a filter, has a flow meter, so that you can even set that flow rate in the app itself, right? And has walls and nozzles depending on the type of centrifugal or not. Yeah, the pressure spraying and centrifugal spraying, like I was mentioning earlier, both having its own advantage, disadvantage. The cost mainly centrifugal has higher priced, but gives you control on the droplet size also, right? You can even change the droplet size on the app. Yeah, different types of pumps also available: plunger pump, impeller, and membrane pump. It's evolved over time. The impeller pumps are the one that is being used in the latest models, right? So even the pumping system has various options available at that, and there are sensors for even looking at the pressure level, the liquid level, and these drones, for example, if it runs out of battery or if it runs out of liquid, it automatically comes back, right? So if you say you're flying 5 acres, planned a mission, you've taken the boundary, you're spraying for 5 acres, and in between, if it runs out of liquid, it comes back and lands back to where the operator started the flight. If it runs out of battery, it comes back and lands. So either he goes and changes the battery, or he changes the tank, or refills the tank, and then continues, right? And presses continue on the app, it will continue flying, right? The different technicalities and different nozzles that let different flow rates possible. All of these components put together forms the drone. Yeah, and I hope that in this brief time of close to half an hour, I think I have a couple of minutes left, that I was able to give a glimpse of what is drones and spraying doing, right? What are drones and spraying for agriculture? This is an effective, a completely carbon neutral, right? A way to spray chemicals on and fertilizers which improve yield of crops to in the most effective and cost effective, right, environment effective and cost effective manner. This is at like I said, just an early adoption phase in India. It's just launched. Drone rules have just come in a couple of years ago. Just the certified models, right? These models need to be certified, and the list of certified models are just starting to grow now in India. And while we are seeing adoption happening from the government side today, government has been highly endorsing this product and usage of this product at the highest level. There have been operating procedures being published by the government. There's a list of formulations of pesticides now allowed to be aerially sprayed, and there are subsidies announced, right? There are anywhere from 50 to 70%, 50, 60, 70% slabs for different kinds of users, right, across government bodies, across women, and other types of farmers. So depending on that, there is a subsidy being announced on this product as well. So to accelerate the adoption of this technology, right? Yeah, with that, I think I've crossed my half an hour limit. Would love to take in questions and answer any queries or any doubts that the audience might have. Thanks a lot, everybody, for the time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mendel, for a wonderful presentation. I will take up the questions from the participants now. In the meantime, can you please stop sharing the screen so that we can see your full video?
Yeah, I hope that's stopped now, right?
Yeah, you can stop sharing the screen.
Yeah.
I think it is not working. Okay, I will take up the questions now.
Sure.
The first question is, Are there any training programs or resources available for farmers to learn how to operate drones for agriculture spraying effectively?
Yeah. Yeah, to answer that, training resources, there are of course resources available. In most cases today, what's happening is the manufacturer from who we are purchasing this drone, they themselves are providing product training, right? There is at least a 2 year, 2 day, sorry, 2 day course that every manufacturer mostly provides, even the one that we are jointly working on launching in India, the ones I showed you. We will also be the manufacturer or the point of sale where you purchase this drone, the supplier of this drone. They themselves, in most cases, are providing training, because training, some form of training is required to operate this drone. It's not too complicated as it seems. It does seem that it's so much complicated. It's not. It's quite simple. You can manually spray or plan and spray, right? And I can share maybe some few links post this, or like I said, most manufacturers themselves provide some sort of training along with it, along with sharing resources to learn. Like I said, mostly it's a 1 day of uh, uh, theoretical training, and then there is a 1 day of practical training going on field operating these drones, right? That's essential to learn the skill of then operating. From a rules point of view, since this is more than 2 kilos, in most cases 25 kilo plus, the operator needs to be formally trained as well. There are, apart from knowing in real sense to operate the product, the rules also requires the person to get trained from a RPTO. This is Remote Pilot Training Organization, are essentially drone training schools. There are close to 57 schools today in India, training all sorts of drones. The list of this can be seen from the Ministry of Civil Aviation's website called Digital Sky. There is a portal called Digital Sky. In the Digital Sky, the list of these drone training schools are enlisted. Some of them have an agricultural drone spraying course as well already available. So that is required. That's as per the rule, mandatory to have that training done. Not everybody is getting trained today. So we are in a transition phase. People, like I said, it requires at least 2 days to learn this, and you can get the list of the schools from the Ministry of Civil Aviation Digital Sky website. I hope that helps get the resources and answers the question.
Okay. How can drone assist department officials in monitoring and enforcing pesticide regulations in the agricultural sector?
Sorry, could you please repeat that question?
How can drones assist departmental officials in monitoring and enforcing pesticide regulations in the agricultural sector?
Yeah, so essentially what happens is, since these are high precision application, right? Because the flow rate is fixed, the spraying intervals are fixed, right? And there has been enough study done by the government themselves in collaboration with various agricultural universities, right? On what is the, and that's and as a result of that study, the Ministry of Agriculture has published an SOP, standard operating procedure, right? On what should be the dosage per acre, what should be the for each crop specific instructions, as an SOP is published by the ministry. As long as that SOP is followed, as long as that SOP is followed by every user, be it the government themselves, or it could be even private operators, as long as the SOP is followed, which in most cases is, because you are completely automating this mission. So it's by spraying with drone, you are inherently being highly precise while spraying. So as long as SOP is followed, it helps the government then enforce policies, right? Which kind of governs the dosage, for example, right? And such things is it's now better enforceable than before when it was done manually versus drones. Now the technology inherently helps, aids, implement regulations, right, or policies around guidelines around the pesticide spraying application.
Okay, I'll move to the next question. How can drones help farmers optimize pesticide application by targeting specific area or zones within their fields?
Yeah, exactly. What's being happening is that either via the current agrochemical supply chain, or even say equipment rental supply chain. Today, there are harvesters and this machinery that is being rented. Such people are also now providing drone service, or if not, will start soon, are already in some form trying to provide this service, right? And that is what makes it accessible to the end users, and it's not only happening at an individual level, but there are also FPO wide adoption that's happening. And like the question said, zones, right? It could be even geographical specific zones. Few zones in India, so where the technology adoption happens slightly earlier, right? And other pockets where adoption is happening higher today. But like I said, we're just starting, industry is just starting to happen as we speak. So adoption should see exponential adoption growth over the next, say, 5 years.
Okay. What are the potential risks or safety precautions associated with using drones for spraying in agriculture?
Yeah, so the operator training is mostly from a safety point of view. While there is product know-how that he needs to know how to fly and operate, it's the easier part. The safety is the main important part. The drones, like I said, are inherently quite safe, right? They don't come close to an obstacle. If you walk towards the drone, move back. So you simply cannot make the drone go close to an obstacle beyond 2 meters. So the drone inherently are having enough obstacle avoidance sensors on the drone to keep it safe. But at the same time, the operator, this is where the training is important, to know the safe procedures to operate these drones. While takeoff, you should be standing at least 6 meters away. So there is few safety precautions or procedures that the operator needs to follow at all times. That's the main part of the training that's given. But that being said, the technology itself is quite highly safe, and it's also waterproof, like was shown in the video, right? So even if it rains, even if it is stormy, these drones are quite stable, flying and operating in all conditions, even hilly terrains, right? So the technology itself takes care of most of the safety aspects, but the operator needs to do his part as well.
Okay. And move on to the
This is
next
our
question.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you have answered this question. I'll just take it up once again. You can make it clear. What are the regulatory requirements and permits needed for farmers to operate drones for agricultural spraying?
Yeah. Technically, what is required is that the drone needs to be, there are three things, right? One is the drone needs to be registered. It should have a number, like an RC number. We call it in the drone world, we call it unique identifier number, UIN, right? The drone needs to have a UIN number. The operator needs to have a certificate of training, and he needs to operate in the green zone, not in the red zone, the green zone. These are the rule that applies. To obtain the certificate, the unique number, the unique identifier number, UIN, right? To obtain that, there are a few ways, which primary of which is to buy certified drones, right? There's a list of certified drones. If you purchase a certified drone, then you can go to the government's website. The drop down will have the list of certified drones. Select it, register your drone. That's it, right? One time registration. In the past, because this was a work in progress policy, there was also means to declare your drones. If it's a manufacturer, they can declare R&D drones as model aircrafts. There was a scheme earlier where people could declare their drones and then even without being certified. So this will come in a path. Currently, the policy says that the drone needs to be certified. When the drone is certified, you can purchase certified drones, register it. That's the first rule, the unique number. Then the operator needs certificate, and he needs to operate in green zones by checking the map. There's a map available in that same Digital Sky website. He can check the map. He or she can see the map, and if it's a green zone, he's free to operate. That's the rule, summary of the rule for operating these in India.
Okay. We'll take up the next question. What are the key considerations for agri-entrepreneurs looking to invest in drone-based agriculture spraying services?
Yeah, so great question. I think the key consideration for a service provider, firstly, is the economics, right? If he's buying a, say, 3 lakh drone, 6 lakh drone with subsidy, without subsidy, he needs to check what is the quality and build of the drone, because you want this drones to come for 2 to 3 years. He should look at the economics of operating this, right? And it largely comes down to how many battery cycles, right? because battery comes for 100 cycles or 500 cycles or 1000 cycles, 1500 cycles. So how many cycles is the battery comes with? How long can I operate this one drone that is purchased with, say, 2 batteries? Drone that's the set of the drone. And then given the cycle, then you can estimate what is the cost per takeoff, right? What's the cost per takeoff? And there's a logistics cost of doing on-field travel. The bike means the drone needs to be carried in a bike, or there should be transport costs. And so all those operational costs and this the cost of amortizing the drone, right? And so that economics is the first key consideration. Like I said, the drones are in a wide range in the market. The entry-level drones are mostly kits coming in, getting rebranded in an Indian product manufacturer name and being sold in the market. So there are all kinds of drones because just very early, people are trying to capitalize the demand in the market to the highly sophisticated technology, like the one I showed you in the beginning. So that's the first consideration, the product itself and the economics of the product. That's the first consideration. The second consideration is to conform to the law of land. And it's important that you are also completely conformant and following it safely while operating it. These are the considerations that a service provider should have while investing into the product.
Okay. Are there any government incentives or financial incentives available to support farmers and agri-entrepreneurs in adapting drone technology for
Yes.
agriculture spraying?
Yeah, like I said, there is a equipment incentive, right? And there are also AIF loans, right? Low interest rate loans available from now being dispersed by various banks. So you should check with the bank for loan options available for financing agricultural drones. That's one option that's being made available. And second option is if you qualify for a subsidy. There are different tiers of qualifications, starting with 50% to 70%. You can check the Ministry of Agriculture's website to get a better understanding of the qualification criteria. So if you qualify from anywhere from 50 to 70%, subsidy is also available. And in some cases, this is being managed from the supplier. Whoever buying the drone itself will provide you financing options. So this is also being made available for drone spraying products.
Okay. In summary, what is the main message you would like to convey via this talk?
Yeah, so in summary, I think, like I said, this is a sunrise phase for this technology and this industry. For people in the ecosystem, adopting this, providing this as a service is a great lucrative business opportunity to be a service provider for spraying drones right now in the market. Given the valuation, the economic potential of this particular drone. And that messaging is the main message I want to say, just to from my side, give an understanding of what is the current status. And the second message, of course, is that we are, as Skylark Drones, we are working with the manufacturer, an industry-leading manufacturer, to launch their products in India along with our software, a made in India software. So the right kind of production in India, we are just about launching. We will be launching in the next few months. So yeah, that's the second message that I want to give you, that in the next few months we'll be also launching a complete solution, a world-class solution for this particular industry.
Okay, thank you very much. We have now completed the round of questions. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we like to thank Mr. Mendel Pai for the talk and for answering the questions. I like to also thank all the participants in the meeting. This meeting will now be closed.
Thank you, everybody.
You're most welcome.